But you see, if, for instance, now these Tokumbo cars are more affordable than this brand new made in Nigeria cars that we're going to be having, it just begs the reason that we're going to see a higher influx of smuggling. And when that comes in, of course, it begins to hurt the market for the manufacturers. So how about manufacturers decide to make this made in Nigeria cars almost the same price as what you could easily obtain a Tokumbo car?
It's not about they deciding what to make the price. The goal is to have locally assembled cars compete as much as possible with the used cars that are coming in. We plan, for instance, to flood the market with cars that can be purchased for much cheaper than people are buying Tokumbo cars right now. So over time, you'd find that Nigerians would be able to purchase brand new cars without having to pay much more than they pay at the moment. In addition, part of the reasons why the market has been as shallow as it is because there has been no financing process by which people could leverage whatever they have. Everybody that buys a car needs to have 100% of his funds available. The government is also working on ensuring that they can create a financing structure by which people who are eligible and can be assessed as such are able to access finance much more easily and much more affordably. The result would be that this market, for instance, is a 1 million per annum market. We're only 300,000 just because you need to have 100% of your funds. So as this policy develops and all the various issues that government has in place, as they fall into place, you'd find that we're going to have a much deeper market. The people who are complaining now that they have issues with volume would find that they'll be overwhelmed with volume, because then, with only 20% of the funds required, you could actually easily purchase a car at an affordable interest rate.
Mr. Ogiagbe, he has painted a very vibrant picture we should be expecting from manufacturers as regards the automobile industry. But then we need to have a good steel industry to support this vibrant automotive sector that we're talking about. Would this not actually pose a challenge to the sustainability of this policy?
Okay, from understanding, we will need to move from a comparative advantage to a competitive advantage. By art of God design, the country seems to have some comparative resource from iron ore that can be made into steel, they can be rolled from billets to and now go to flat sheets. Then we have rubber, we have sand for good glass, and petrochemical industry is also from oil. These are major components when you talk about the volume of car. There are over 2,800 to 3,000 components or parts in the vehicle. But the issue about steel will be that we know our country has been deviled by the Ajakuta non-rolling on stream. I don't think the steel issue would, or as you already said, the steel issue is positive you look at it from the negative point, because we have not been able to move from just reducing the ore to billets for it to now roll into flat sheets. Then you now go to stamping of the sheets into the form that the car will have. So that's the end product. There is a chain, and there's also a disconnect in our inability to be able to move this value chain from iron ore to steel. So that's why I said the comparative advantage, we're not taking advantage of it. So investments are required. And there has to be a national vision that this is what we want to do. And in doing that, these are the various components that our country will be able to manufacture, from moving from the ore point, from the crude resource to the refined resources. Most countries, when they take that vision, they will take it in a long term and in an holistic manner in the area where they have comparative advantage and mill them into a competitive advantage. That's when you cannot come to defining that. So I think more than that, the investment climate for those resources will be an issue, or could be will tangent into or dovetail into production of vehicles. Over areas where you have had good fledgling production facilities or economy like China, like you have in Malaysia, where they have national car, all these were well spelled out, and policies are guided towards ensuring that those resource industry are going to move from comparative advantage to a competitive advantage, where they manufacture for themselves and they export to other countries.
Let me take you back a little bit. You see, most of these licensed customs agents and freight forwarders, their issue is that revenue will be lost, especially for them who, for instance, already had orders to bring in these cars or who already have these cars in. And they're looking at a situation where this policy, they're not against the implementation, but what they have a problem with is the suddenness it has come about. And so this is causing them pain financially. But we have to, the situation has to be looked at, very objectively to ensure that in the short to medium term, before Nigeria begins to, the manufacturers begin to, have more
Proper
cars.
footing.
Yes, proper footing, that's the word. Or have more cars to, cater to the needs of Nigerians. How can their own misgivings be addressed?
I will make an intro, and I'm sure Tokumba will come back to the matter, because the question is probably addressed to him, and I would have loved that the custom person is here so that we can hear from them. But I think it's not like reinventing the wheel. This is not the first time production activities are taking place in the country, so we're not reinventing the wheel. So there have been production in the past, and we've hit capacity of about 100,000 to 108,000 in the past where we were producing, and there was also some imports. It's just a question of taste bud that has changed amongst our economy. The other point is that what are we going to do as a country? They would make that reaction, but then when you are dealing with an holistic issue, we are also, those who are importing vehicles, for example, are equally affected, and we are more pained. Like I said, the duty constitutes like a geometric mathematical analysis when you are doing cost computation. The duty will come in, your surcharge, your levies, all of them will come in. From that, you start to get the new percentages that you get in calculating pricing. I cannot speak for the agent. I don't know what their challenges are. I know that as a stakeholder, and they interface with us a lot, because without the agent, with a licensed agent clearing the vehicle don't come out of a port. They've been so placed in that position that they would have that option of helping us to go. If there was a direct structure where you import a car, you get it out of a port, then we'll probably be in a different there will be a different ball game. Their concerns will be in terms of pricing. How are we sure that even as agents they are giving the right invoices to the custom, and how is the custom reconciling these invoices? The custom seems to be the person. They are the good bride in this case, and I think this question probably would have been better answered by the custom. Revenue drop from all the ends that come to the country. Vehicle seats in the custom has been the area where the custom realized those trillions of naira they declare as custom hasn't made revenue every year. And that is one fundamental issue, because you do the calculation based on the cost and freight. And so the duty is based on that thing. And so the other area would be probably rice, if it was still allowed. Maybe they make sugar, and those where you have large import into flow. So wherever you have large imports will be where custom will determine revenue. I think by adjustments, some things will give, some things will take, and probably they will be able to come to some midpoint in ensuring that the revenue is cascaded to the right way. The person to complain this time will probably be Professor Madam Okonjo-Iweala, not me. And I'm sure the custom agent will be best put in this way. But Tokumba probably will share a view on how this work in terms of excise duty and import duty and stuff like that.
Okay, so